Hi everyone, my name is Angelina and you're listening to the Cultural Iceberg where we will discuss all the things about cultures and how to understand them more. So today we're excited to have these professionals of culture and its aspects who will share us meanings and opinions about this iceberg. So hi guys, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, Angelina. My name is Juan Pablo. I am the analyst, and I have always been curious about cultures around the world. But the most important thing for me is not to know the difference in what they do, but rather what they do it, giving me tools to better understand the different societies that make up planet Earth.
Hey guys, I am Lucía and I really appreciate that we're meeting today to discuss the cultural iceberg and exchange our perspectives based on individual cultures. And however, today I'm representing the voice of the old followers who hear every podcast, publisher, and ask his questions, interesting, and perspectives.
Hi everyone, my name is María Camila and I'm a travel lover, so I will be telling you like all my experiences traveling. And I think this will be very interesting because we will get to know everything about the cultural iceberg and why is that so important.
Okay, so thanks to everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'm Johnny, and I've dedicated my career to exploring the deep cultural icebergs. So, by developing and these invisible aspects, and also bridge cultural gaps and foster deeper appreciation of diversity and surround us.
So now we have to know more about this cultural iceberg. Basically, it is a metaphorical representation model that shows us the visible and the invisible cultural elements within a community or a special group. At the top, the visible part, we find the five physical senses to understand it, formed by the language, forms of art, like music, painting, dances, but also the taste of food, the religion, and their manners. And basically, in the hidden part, there are the connections between the surface and the real culture, especially the beliefs, norms, myths, ideals, values, and the concepts that are important for them, their roles in the society, and it's meaning the privacy of the people in a deeper way.
Angelina, you just mentioned a really good model. The iceberg is a very interesting model. For me, science it not only shows the layers that exist in the knowledge of a culture, but also shows the importance of learning the roots of cultures to have a greater understanding of them.
Yeah, guys, according to Juan Pablo, I think the roots of the cultures sharing the cultural iceberg model. Firstly, understanding the cultural iceberg model, theoretically, we can only see 10% of the superficial area, and the rest, 90% of the real area, is not visible. And I think similarly occurs with culture and behaviors, have both visible and invisible parts. And how Angelina said, we can find in the invisible parts factors like, I don't know, preference, opinions, values, beliefs. In general, I think the value system. But in different cultures, some factors are more visible even if they belong to invisible components.
Oh, it's awesome to know more about it. Thank you, Lucia and Juan Pablo. We all want to know if something happened to you related to this topic and experience that surprised us. So, Camila, tell us.
Angelina, yes, is when I first traveled to Italy, I had a thing when I spoke to people and told them that I was Colombian, they started talking to me about drugs and Pablo Escobar, and I was so impressed. And I was like, why they don't ask me about like interesting stuff like I don't know Gabriel Garcia Marquez or the soccer player Falcao, James Rodriguez, the musician Shakira, something that was actually interesting, and that shocked me and that concerned me because we're known, we're barely most known as having a lot of drugs, and that is very horrible.
Yeah, I hate that type of comments. It's really annoying that the visible part of Colombia for many people it's only drugs and Pablo Escobar and that type of things. We have more to share as you say.
Yeah, guys, I have heard a lot of stories where Colombians are only remembered for Pablo Escobar. But I think this prejudice also arises based on how someone looks. I want to share with you guys a firstly story that I recently passed. I was coming home and saw a person who looked a little bit strange. I mean, they were dressed in black without metallic accessories, and their face was painted white with black. And I confess, immediately I had a prejudice about that person, and I changed the sidewalk. And it's wrong to draw conclusions about someone solely based on invisible components.
Well, so reflecting something about Camila's and Lucia's experience, I think that it's crucial to recognize how the surface level and perception often overshadows the rich tapestry of culture that lies beneath. This interaction highlights the importance of looking beyond stereotypes. So, and seeking a deeper understanding of cultural narratives. In my work, I've seen how these superficial judgments can lead to missed opportunities for meaningful connections and shared learning.
Oh, that's really important, Johnny. But also a lot of things take place below this waterline. So sometimes that happened to me, according to this part, is that I was going to a meeting with a friend for a coffee, I don't know, at 5 p.m. That happens to me the last day. And basically, I arrived 10 minutes later, and he was very upset because he's Japanese, and in their culture, the punctuality is a super important value. So, for me, as a good Colombian, I thought that I wasn't late. But did something similar happen to you?
Yes, Angelina. I'm a very unpunctual person, and actually happened to me, and I recognize that people in Spain is very punctual. I was going to go at the grocery store with my grandma, and she told me you have to be downstairs at 5. And I was like at 5:15, and she was so upset. She told me like, why are you so late? That is being like unresponsible. And also, I would like to talk about like a invisible culture that happened to me, and that is very important. So, when I first traveled to Spain, I stayed with my grandma like a month. The thing that I was telling you, and I saw something, a tradition that is very important, and it was like until no one is on the table, you can't eat. You have to wait for everyone to be there to start eating, something that doesn't happen in Colombia. And I think that is very great, and that is a tradition that we may apply.
Well, so I'm gonna be the other part of the coin. I mean, well, something that it's like the people of the other country can see us. For example, I was dating with a London girl. So, well, I am so punctual. So when I'm arrived like 10 minutes before the hour that we accord to meeting us, she said, wow, why you come so punctual? Because I thought that Colombians are too punctual. So I say no. There are some people that we care about to be punctual, and also another one. It was for American man then show my cell phone. Well, that see my cell phone, and saw that it was an iPhone. And he said, "Well, it's so strange to see an iPhone here because it's Colombia. I mean, do you have to how to pay that?" So it's like a prejudgment that maybe the people of the other countries have.
Okay, you are all talking about your experience as a tourist, but we may not be aware because we as Colombians fear many invisible cultural elements that shape our behaviors. For example, the family, religion, sense of identity and pride, and the communication styles that we have. Later, I will talk more about them, but in first place, I would like to describe them in a short sentence. About family, we have the loyalty, support, and the family unit that is really strong in Colombia. It will have an effect in the society. I will explain the effect later. With the religion, it to have an effect that can explain a lot of things of our country, and maybe we are not aware about that. Sense of pride too. We have a lot of celebrations, and we are proud of our culture. And about the communication style, Colombia is no, but the non-verbal communication that we have a lot of gestures, and as Colombians, we don't know the meaning about all of them because are a big number of gestures that we have.
Yeah, as Juan Pablo says, I think the factors like family and community values, and I don't know, religious on politics, um, it's a factors very controversial and it's difficult to understand in a new culture. According to experts, the most challenging part is stepping out myself and being able to understand other cultures without categorizing them as, I don't know, dirty, rude, alcoholic, and using wrong adjectives. And I think it's important to submerge in a new culture is accepting them even without a full understanding. It's a part of embracing cultural diversity.
That's true, Lucia. To understand us, I can explain the effect that have the invisible elements and are an explication for a lot of things that we have in our culture. For example, the family unit have a consequence that is the relationship are often deeply interconnected between us, the Colombian people, and with the religion, it have an impact in the rules that we have in the society because the religion have a really strong role in shape how what the society will do, what is wrong, what is good, and that is really important to do the rules. And finally, with the cultural pride, we have a lot of unit belong different cultures because we have different cultures in Colombia. We have people that is from different groups and all are interconnected in our country in celebrations are a big tradition depending the place.
Thank you to Camila and Johnny to share us your experiences because it's really cool to know more about it because we should try to learn about these experiences and implement the things that we learn constantly in our daily life about this type of problems. But also I want to know more about the opinion of our experts in this topic as Maria Lucía and Juan Pablo because they share us a different context in where it's really important to know this type of problems or how to vote it.
So I'm gonna talk in this place. So understanding the invisible cultural elements, such as values and beliefs and tradition, is crucial for meaningful cross-cultural communication and enhance empathy, reduce misunderstandings, and foster inclusivity. So recognizing these aspects enrich interaction, and promotes deeper respect for diversity. Thank you, Angelina.
Okay, so to this cross-cultural communication or this iceberg, we have to know that the awareness of this is that it's important to improve the cross-cultural communication and understanding. We can learn a lot of empathy, effective communication, and promote the inclusivity.
Yeah, I have actually so many tips. Being a expert traveler, so you need to know actually these tips. I would say that firstly, you have to practice the active listening. Restate what others says, ask questions, and summarize to ensure clarity and to build support. Also, this is a very important one. You have to be careful with your humor. Uh, we have to use our humor cautiously, as cultural interpretations of humor, and ensure jokes are appropriate and well received. Also, avoid the closed questions. Questions like yes, no, don't be that close. Ask open questions and open-ended ones to encourage detailed responses. And also, you have to get to know the culture before you travel, and that is very important. Look up and Google tradition, cultures, languages, how they use their hands, and that could improve a lot in the communication between foreign and a native people.
Camila, you said really good tips to have an effective communication. As an invisible culture analyst, understanding the cultural iceberg is fundamental to my work. It allows me to delve beyond the surface of observable culture traits and behaviors, allowing for a deeper understanding of the values, beliefs, and assumptions that drive them. This awareness is crucial in intercultural communication as it helps me interpret it and respond to cultural that may not be immediately evident. By recognizing the complexity and diversity of cultures, we can avoid the danger or oversimplification that is really in relation with what you just said, Camila, and stereotyping. And instead, approach each culture encounter with sensitive and respect. It's really important. This deeper understanding also improves the ability to identify and address cultural barriers that may impede effective communication and collaboration across cultures.
Yeah, thank you, Camila, for your tips because all the topics you touched on are related to the question from our followers, and that is why we will read some questions. Angelina, please tell me about our followers' questions.
Yeah, we want to ask you some things. The first is about the visible versus invisible elements. So, how do visible aspects such as clothing and language differ from the invisible elements like values and beliefs in shaping cultural identity?
Okay, if you ask me, I will say explore how recognizing and appreciating both visible and invisible components can lead to a deeper understanding of cultural topics.
So now more about the impact on the interpersonal relationships. How do the invisible elements of culture affect the dynamics of relationships, both within a specific culture and when interacting across different cultures?
Oh, it's a really good question because the invisible and visible elements have a high impact in their relationships. I think encourage open communication to uncover hidden values and beliefs and fostering mutual understandings. and it's very important to strengthen interpersonal connections.
So now, talking about the cultural misunderstandings, what role do assumption and stereotypes play in cultural misunderstanding, and how can we challenge these perceptions? So well, um, give you an advice as an expert. I think that you must to emphasize the importance of questioning assumption and seeking classification to bridge the gap between visible difference and underlying cultural values. So talking about cultural adaptations, well, how cultural and individual adapt to respect the invisible aspects of a new culture when relocating or working in multicultural environment. So well, something I can tell you is advocate for cultural sensitivity and training and highlight the benefits of embracing diverse cultural and perspectives for personal and professional growth. So the conclusions.
Yeah, I think engaging with the cultural iceberg involves recognizing the interplay between visible and invisible elements, understanding their impact or relationships, and I don't know, actively addressing potential with misunderstandings. And by fostering a mindset that follows cultural and I don't know diversity and encourage open communication that individuals and communities can navigate the complexities of the cultural iceberg model.
So I hope you like this episode and learn more about of this curious iceberg of the culture and the complexity that it has in its parts. And I'm glad, and I know all the listeners are glad with the experts, but also with Camila, with Johnny for their opinions. And thank you so much for listening to us, and I hope you use these advices in your daily life to avoid the misunderstandings. Thank you to all.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
too. Bye.
Thank you to you,
Bye,
Angelina.
thank you
Goodbye.
I
guys
really
for
enjoyed
learning
this
a lot.
podcast with you.